Hey, Brian.
What?
Brian.
Hey,
Oh,
Do you have Eric joining this meeting? I have a request from an Eric.
yeah, so he's one of the people I'm kind of training, and so he's going to join us
Brian.
tonight just to
Hey,
kind of see how things are done.
do you have Eric joining this meeting? I have a request from an Eric.
Yeah, so he's one of the people I'm kind of training, and so he's going to join us tonight just to kind of see how things are done.
Do you have Eric joining this meeting? I have a request from an Eric.
Yeah, so
Hey,
he's one of the people I'm kind of training. Hey, Eric, going to join
hey
us
guys.
to kind of see how things are done. I hear an echo now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it kept repeating that conversation between you and Ryan. It kept going.
So Eric, we have a lot of people on here from the board, and then Dr. Lucas, Steve Lucas, he's the superintendent. Ryan Cheney's the director of operations. And so you'll see a bunch of people on here, but you'll kind of see how everything goes for Lordsburg.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
welcome, Eric.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you guys are having a good evening tonight. Or, yeah. About that time, right?
Yes, sir.
I know I get lost track of time sometimes. And it's just, don't know if it's in the middle of the day, the morning, or.
Yes.
I've got 6 o'clock. Can we start this meeting, please? Welcome everybody to the Lordsburg Municipal Schools regular school board meeting, August 17, 2020. Again, I hope everybody's doing good. Call this meeting to order. Would you please stand and say the pledges with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you. Again, welcome everyone. Those out there listening to us, welcome. Hope everybody's doing good. Just a reminder, only the items on this agenda will be talked about and will be discussed, okay? Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda. Esquivel.
Motion by Ms. Esquivel. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Morelos.
Second by Mr. Barrera. I'll poll each member for their vote. Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Agenda is approved as written.
I think Edgar's on there as well.
Oh, is he?
Yes, sir.
Edgar, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Gomez, will you vote for the approval of agenda?
Yes, sir. Aye.
Okay. Passes unanimously, approved as written. Number 3, approval of minutes for regular meeting of July 20th, 2020. Any questions or comments on these? If not, I'll accept the motion to accept minutes as written for regular meeting of July 20th, 2020.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Morelos.
Motion by Mr. Gomez. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mrs. Esquivel. Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Minutes approved. Number 4, reports. Administrative report, Dr. Lucas. I can't hear you, sir.
Sorry, I was muted. So the numbers as of the 13th, the 5th day of school, we had 441 students logged in. By our Power School count, we should have had 471, so we're 31 short from where we should have. This now includes pre-K and kindergarten, which weren't included in the initial counts because they hadn't, they delayed start.
Dr. Lucas, did you expect this shortage, or is it?
Well, it's, in a way, it's better than we expected with the online. And I'll have counts next time of those that have requested, like if anybody requested to go homeschool. Right now, in the first 10 days, we don't know. We can't count them absent. We can't count them here. We're just trying to call them and get in hold and find out if they're having troubles logging on, or they're moved, or what's happened to them.
Okay.
So those 31 might still be enrolled. They didn't all drop out.
Right, right. And normally, after Labor Day, we start getting more students in traditionally.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. And then any questions on the operations report?
I'm curious on the vestibule. What happened there?
The quote came in more than double what they told us, like we were telling them what they wanted. So we've got to look at some other options.
Because if I remember correctly, that was coming out of that bond.
Right.
Wasn't there quite a bit of money in there? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Well, we spent, we had about 200,000, and I mean, we could cover it, but we've got to go through PED to get it covered, because we'll have to take off other things we said we were going to do with it.
Okay.
To cover it.
All right.
So we just can't move it and authorize it until we can get it cleared through PED.
Okay. And then I had a question on let me see, live lessons. I don't know. Were you going to continue going down, or?
So right now we're on operations reports. If there's no questions on it, then we'll go to building reports, and I'll let the principals report.
Okay, just on your last technology there, it says these can be used for live lessons as well as pre-recorded lessons. I know we had discussed about not being able to pre-record lessons and stuff like that.
Right. And so what we've started doing is asking the teachers basically to volunteer to start recording their records. We're not going to require them. We're going to suggest that they do it. And at least for now, until we get further guidance from our attorneys saying we can actually say, yes, this is a requirement.
So, I mean, do you think we have any issue with asking them to volunteer? Have you had any issues?
No, I don't think so. Because if they do it on their own, it's fine. Because it will eventually save them work. Because if a teacher doesn't record, so say a student misses for whatever reason, they'll have to do packets or something. Or if we have a student unable to attend live, we're going to have to come up with packets. If they have the lessons recorded, the student can just view those lessons.
Okay.
If we do not, we'll have to do packets or something to accommodate that student.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Any more questions or comments for Dr. Lucas?
I just had one. I just want to thank Ryan and Brenda for the IT services, ordering more Chromebooks, working on fast to get the hotspots going. I just want to personally thank them for doing their job really well. So thank you, Ryan.
And they have been swamped with calls.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah,
Can't even imagine. Yes.
And let Brenda know that I thank her as well.
Yes.
Any other comments or statements? Good point, Mrs. Esquivel. Go ahead, Dr. Lucas.
Okay, building reports. We can start with RVT, Adam. You're muted.
Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you
You
now.
guys hear me? All right. Sorry about that. So everything's going well. We had our hiccups. So just kind of go down the board report on communication. So we've been doing our best to reach out to parents weekly and through different modes. Obviously, Google Class, Class Dojo, parent letters. I know that Ms. Hassel over the summer contacted every family to verify information. And next week, we'll start weekly parent surveys just to see how everything's going. We have fielded a lot of calls as well. So I know Emily and Josie are directing those calls as they see fit. 2, virtual learning. So our teachers are going to provide that learning platform on Google Classroom. you know, and it's not going to go away. So we're going to continue to use it as a tool when we come back as well. Teachers are receiving and have received professional learning with the Google Suite. All learning should be delivered via the Google Classroom. Teachers are expected to be presentable and have cameras on during live lessons. They should be entering a minimum of 2 grades a week. All lessons or assignments will be graded within 2 academic days, notwithstanding the weekends. And accommodations are being met for our students with exceptionalities. So we're going to move on to personal education plans for each student. Want to see what kids want to do, right? And maybe tailor some programming towards what they want to learn and do at RBT. Number 4, teacher, parent, student contact. I kind of gave some set guidelines for the teachers in regard to contact. And so we're going to try getting a hold of everybody within a standard business day or standard business timeframe. It's really going to make the communication go really well. And we've just been addressing issues, you know, that come up on social media or whatever. So Google Voice is a tool being used. And we're asking parents to, you know, contact the school if they have an issue first, so we can handle it at the lowest level possible. And just leave us a message and let us know how we can improve what we're doing at the school. Like I said, weekly surveys. And then Ms. Mendoza is still working on the students in need. So I know she's handled a lot of those laptop and or Chromebook and internet issues. And so we're still working on those, and we're trying to do everything as best we can. And I'm really proud of our staff and happy with the way things have gone so far. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Amador? Thank you for the detailed report, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Morelos,
Yes, ma'am.
it's Susie. I just wanted to know I was finally able to get into the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cole, for checking in.
Thank you.
Okay, and, next, Mr. Almanzar.
Good evening, Board President Morelos, Superintendent Lucas, members of the board. I'll go through the beginning of the year, how that has started out for us. Again, ditto to what Dr. Amador said. We've had a pretty good start to the year. We've had some minor issues. Most of our issues have been through technology issues, but I share your thoughts. Ms. Esquivel, Ryan, and Brenda have really done a good job. So any issues that come in, we relay that information to them and they're on top of it right away. So we're very fortunate to have them here, and it's been a good working relationship so far. We spent several days on different areas for growth for our teaching staff. So we did a thing on blended hybrid and remote learning. And so we're trying to prepare that. So when we do come back in hybrid mode, then we'll have a better idea of how to tackle that. The Google Suite workshop was excellent, and that's exactly what we needed as a staff. We struggled with that at the end of last year, and basically we did that because we had a week, maybe a week and a half to get ready to go. And so I think that through this, everything that's happening right now is going to make our teachers much stronger down the road. And so we've had to learn, we've had to grow, and by doing so, we're going to be a much better teaching staff. So there are some positives in this pandemic. So that was good. Again, just a good presentation by the presenter, and it really has helped us as a staff. You notice there, I put some focus areas down that I think we need to work on at CES, DTMS, and bottom line, we need to improve our instruction, and there's always room for growth. So that is what I put down first. That's the thing that we're going to focus on. We need to improve our academic rigor and the relevance that we're teaching from. We need to step it up a little bit and make sure that not only are our kids learning, but they're getting the academic rigor that they need. And so that'll be a focus area for me as long as I'm here. I'll move forward with that. Focus on best practices, use of Marzano's 9 high yield strategies, for example, summarizing and note taking, that would be one of them, and then just setting objectives and providing feedback. So we're working on that as well. And then notice I put down to focus on social and emotional learning. And in these hard times, that's a big issue with some of our kids and also with staff members. And so we are going to address that, and we're using Mr. Ramirez to help in that area. And we actually brought a mental health professional from HMS to present to our staff. I wanted teachers to get an idea of what to look for, especially during a pandemic, and what to see, what our kids are going through at this time, because it hasn't been easy for them. So I think that's a major component of our learning piece. Also, I'm a little worried about staff members sometimes. You know, it's been hard for them as well. And so we need to take care of each other. It was very worthwhile to get some additional information from another professional. So we did go through that. And lastly, just to share what I expect of my teachers. And so we're doing 7 almost 1 hour lessons. So a minimum, I'm asking that they do anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes of instruction daily in each class. I do expect lesson plans. I do check them and offer, positive growth and comments on where I want them to work. They do need to stay online for the entire hour. Even if they finish, they need to be able to answer questions of students. We're also looking at developing the syllabus. And so I sat down with my staff, and they have developed a course syllabus for each class that they teach. The key components are instructor information, the course description, course methodology, grading criteria, and the computation, how you compute the grade, and then just go over class and course policies, attendance and participation. And that was big with us when we sat down and discussed that. You know, we want to make sure that our kids attend on a regular basis and that they participate. And it's a way of keeping them engaged, but also making them accountable. It's not like what we had to follow at the end of the year last year. And so we just want to make sure that we're on the same page, thus the rigor and the relevance that we were talking about. It's been a good start. Like I said, we are talking to a lot of parents. We're taking phone calls. I have my desk full of those notes, and I've been calling parents and addressing those needs as they come in, trying to put ourselves in their shoes, because it hasn't been easy for our parents and families either. But it's been a good start, and good support from the administrative team from the top down. So with that, I'll take any questions if you would like to ask me.
Any questions for Mr. Almanzar?
Sir, this is Edgar. I just wanted to say that today I received an email from Patrick Ramirez reaching out on what he's going to be doing in the next couple of days. And I really think that that's a good idea. If maybe the counselor at the high school could do the same thing, letting them know what he's there for, the services that he could provide. I really just appreciated that email in general.
Good evening, Mr. Gomez, and thank you for that comment. We've been talking about this here since we started, and so it just seemed like the right time to send it out. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Any other questions, comments? If not, thank you, Mr. Almanzar, for another good detailed report. I appreciate it.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
And Scott? Scott? You're muted. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, so when I click on the little microphone, it doesn't work. I gotta click
Oh,
the
you
word
gotta-
to say unmute, so that's where I was stuck.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he was still eating a burrito.
Yeah.
So just to again, just to, a lot of it's going to be what Dr. Amador and Mr. Almanzar talked about, but for here at the high school, with the communication with the parents and the students, we've been emailing them consistently. Teachers are when they invite the students to the Google Classroom, they also invite the parents. So the parents have that opportunity to log into the classroom itself to view the lesson, to see the progress of their students. So that's kind of a nice little tool on Google Classroom. We actually had a Google Meet meeting last week, Wednesday and Thursday. We met with the senior and junior parents, and then the next day we met with the sophomore and freshman parents. Out of our number of students at the school, we probably had about a 25%, people that showed up, but it was still good. It was good, and everything's been working better than what we had planned. At the beginning of the school year. There are some concerns with our, internet still. And again, like everybody's saying, Ryan and Brenda are doing a great job, thank goodness, because there is a lot of, they're busy every day. But just, and we've noticed that in the afternoons, it seems like at the high school, I don't know, it just seems like our internet lags a little bit more in the afternoon. But, we're working through the glitches. Parents and students are great about it. They understand there's going to be issues and they work through it. We got, it was smooth handing out our materials, to get everybody ready, to get the Chromebooks out. We did have to hand out some textbooks. We were trying to eliminate any textbooks, but it just wasn't possible because not all of our textbooks are online. So, that's just part of it. Some of the communication with the parents is that, they have multiple students at their homes, and that kind of creates a little bit of an issue with the internet and things, but, we're working through it and they're working with us. Going into talking about kind of our academic skills, we are using the Google Meets. We had some professional development learning from the RAC, I guess, so, and then from Mrs. Dr. Amador. And then also the nurse came by and, talked to us about some COVID and some resources for the students and really for the teachers to, reach out to, because as Dr. Amador and Mr. Amador were talking, it's been tough on the kids, the teachers as well. And so, the nurse gave some good information. They were good professional development. Teachers enjoyed them. And so that was really positive. We did adopt a new math program this year, both at the junior high and high school, the Carnegie Math. So that's working well. It came with the online program, so that was just perfect. And then, and just right now, we're still just working together day to day, just to, keeping that communication open, trying to reach out to the students that are having trouble logging in, the students that aren't logging in, and just reaching out to the students and the parents, just to try to get everybody on board. The community, parents and students have been great though. They've all been positive, they've all been willing, and we're just trying to make it work. So going well so far. And that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Roberson? If not, thank you, Mr. Roberson. Again, I truly appreciate the administrators for the detailed reports that you give us. I really think that the positive attitude that you guys have, this thing is going to work. And we have to do what we have to do, and I appreciate your hard work. From the administrators to the teachers and the IAs, whoever's working, I appreciate your hard work and the positive attitude that we're showing with this remote learning. Okay, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Dr. Lucas.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you guys all hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good deal. Hey, first thing I got to say, the camera adds like 10 to 15 pounds. So the guys don't judge me. All right. I just want to get that out. I think they said more for bald people. So,
yeah.
Anyway, guys, I sent you guys schedules, kind of what we our volleyball and when we start our other seasons. I attached you with mine. Everything's up in the air. I know we're supposed to start volleyball October 4th, and we'll see if that happens. We don't have very many. We practice a week and we're playing games. And I tried to squeeze in. They gave us 18 games, and that's for volleyball and basketball. And I tried to get every one of them in. I'm still short on basketball. For girls basketball, I'm still short. Boys, I'm at 17. I'm trying to. It's hard. It's really hard in the short amount of time that we have to try to get all those games in. And I could tell you that's the problem, trying to fit them, because I don't want to overload our, like for instance, our girls basketball team. I don't want them playing 3 games the week they play Mescalero. Okay, so those are the issues I kind of deal with. But I think everything's coming together. I'm hoping tomorrow I'll have basketball pretty much finalized. I got a couple more games today finalized. And so, but volleyball's done. And the only thing I can say is that if October 4th comes around and they decide to no sports at all, they'll move it, and they'll move it till football season in February. And basketball starts in January. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Right now is a dark. We're not allowed to see athletes, touch athletes, do anything with our athletes. And I know that's a sad thing for, like, especially for our volleyball coming up. You probably would like to have, you know, the five people limit and start working on that. But we're not allowed to do anything until that date. So I think it's the 28th, actually. It's a little bit before October 4th. But, I'm sure you guys probably have questions. So you guys could ask any questions you want, and I can try to fill you in.
Any questions for Coach Hooper?
I would like to add on for athletics. I fielded some calls on allowing homeschool students to participate, you know, in athletics. And checking with the NMAA, you know, they say we should do it. So if it's okay, we'll just follow the NMAA guidelines unless any of you have any say otherwise. You know,
Boss, I'm sorry. It's weird. I agree with what you're on the homeschooling. We normally let them. They're already allowed to play. I was just panicking and worried because I was having contacts that people want to know if they were just going to go out homeschooling, and I didn't want that. I wanted our kids to stay in our school and not do homeschooling and then play sports because, you know, but anyway, I don't think we had a bad problem with that. I don't think.
No, we haven't.
I know maybe one,
no,
two
we hadn't. I know we've had a couple.
Yeah.
The only thing, you know, when they do it, they have to be in an accredited homeschool program. You know, it has to be an accredited school. Their grades have to meet the same standards. They have to do the drug testing just like anybody else.
Yes,
they have to meet all the same requirements that any other student does to participate.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure does. Yep.
Okay. Do any of the board members have any, any
information
questions about that or anything?
No, I don't. Does anybody else?
Okay.
I'm gonna skip one other thing. I think I'm gonna probably start a Facebook page when we hit October, and that way I can start maybe and do a little athletic thing for our community and just start talking to them about I'll do a Facebook Live or something every week because I get my phone rings a lot on questions on our athletics. That way I keep everyone informed in our community. And then maybe if they don't allow fans in the stands, you know, I could probably do some live there. Just do Facebook Live. People can watch our games right there.
You just cut out, Coach.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, excuse me. Can I interrupt with that about the homeschooling real quick?
Go ahead, sir.
So I know we've received one, you know, some information about one of our students. So, like tomorrow, I'll make sure, I want to call them to make sure that it is accredited with, you know, that it is the right type of homeschooling school that they're attending, because I don't want to, you know, have a student, you know, do homeschooling and then it's not accredited and the credits don't count and they're not able to.
Right, we would need proof of enrollment in that school and then they would have to provide grades.
Yeah. So I'll make sure, I'll contact them tomorrow just to kind of get some more information on that, just to make sure that everything's good for that student.
Any other questions?
I'll just add one more note on that. I mean, I feel the numbers might rise in homeschool if we stay the current path. So I don't know, the 2 right now might go up is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it may, but you know, if we want to be a part of the NMAA and participate in athletics, we need to follow their policy.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
I think we need to.
But yeah, it may go up. It may. Yeah.
I wanted to caution everyone on
yes.
that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I was gonna mention one more thing. Mr. Hooper mentioned about scheduling girls sports. I understand like every other year, not scheduling 3 games against, you know, Mescalero or in the same week. But I think if we ask the girls, I think they'd all want to play. I think schedule as many games as you can for them, even if there is 2 games before. I just think out of all years, you know, they need to play something.
Yeah.
But I certainly get any other year. Shoot, let's try to
Absolutely. I am doing, guys, I got you back. My wife pulled up Bluetooth, went to the truck. I'm going to get the 18 games. So we'll get to the 18 games. We'll play the max games. It's just hard moving games around because I do want to make sure we're loaded, because you got to think they're only taking 8 to the playoffs right now. All right. And so when they say 8, that means we'll take our district champion, and you might get one at large, and that in our district. And so that means one of us will be out if we don't perform or whatever, which is, that's what happens. Because you got to think our district by far is the toughest in the state in 2A, because we got Tule now too. Tularosa's in our district too. So, with Mescalero, Tule, and us, that's probably the top 3 teams in 2A right now. And so I'm trying to make sure I load them games so our girls are successful. And our boys, I think I got it pretty much knocked out. It's going to be fine. So anyway, did anyone else ask any questions? I couldn't hear any of you guys yakking. I'm sorry.
I had one. So
Yes.
all 3 sports would be in March. Is that correct? That's what your note said. Regardless, when we go back, if we go back in January, so we're set up to have games set up in March. That's volleyball, football, and basketball.
Okay. No. Volleyball starts on October 4th. If they were to cancel volleyball, they would put volleyball during football season too, during February. And we would have, and we're going to overlap now. So for instance, if we make if our boys basketball team makes the playoffs, they might be playing in a playoff basketball game on a Tuesday and playing in a football game on a Friday. Okay, everything is overlap. It's going to be tough, but I guarantee, I don't know. The kids are going to want to play. They're just, and they want to play games. They don't want to not play, and that's how it is right now. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah, it's just a little. That's a lot for all the kids right now.
For sure.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't interfere with finals. That was one of our concerns as well, is scheduling games during finals, because some kids need.
Yeah, well, the hardest thing now on that, let's talk about that, because what's going to happen on December, like last year, I was locked in going into December. I don't know, our girls had 3 games during finals, and that was rough, I know. But that was a schedule we were kind of locked in, because that was all BISA can get, and so those girls' games stayed the same. But now we're obviously not going to be playing there and then anyway. But when we come back for the end of the year, we will, because you got to think, sports won't end until June. We'll finish sports in June. So we'll have graduation in May, and we'll still be playing sports till the end of June to finish our others, like baseball, softball, track. So it's going to be a little different, And the next thing, real quick, one other thing I really was worried about. Right now we don't have nothing for our boys, and our boys, our boys haven't had a sport for a long time, and that worries me. We don't have that carrot to kind of keep them going to keep their grades up, because a lot of kids, that's what makes them keep their grades up anyways, athletics. And so they are talking about maybe letting us do some powerlifting. And that would be something new for New Mexico. I'll keep you guys informed on that when they get that finalized. But that will start during volleyball season. We'll see if that happens. And then obviously, I would run it by you guys and see what your guys' thoughts are on it. But right now, and it would be for boys and girls. It's not just for boys in the powerlifting, but it's something to get our boys doing something to competition. And that way they have to make the grades to be able to compete and so on. But anyway. Okay, anything else?
I think that's a really good idea. We should definitely revise it.
Thank you. I do too. I haven't had a chance to talk with Lucas a lot on it. I know they were going to have it in the superintendent meeting, and I haven't had a chance to talk to them about it yet. But I'm excited about powerlifting. I actually think it's going to be a state championship sport starting next year. Because they'll see it's going to be great. Because a lot of those kids that aren't athletes, boys and girls that are just like superstar athletes and stuff, but they can perform in the weight room and win state championships. I think I love it. I do. So.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Anything else from Mr. Hooper? Thank you, Coach.
Guys, thank you, and God bless all of you.
Likewise. Dr. Lucas, number 5, NA, public forum.
Yeah, Ryan, we don't have any comments in there or anything, Ryan?
We currently have 39 viewers and no comments.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Number 6, Board of Education issues.
We have nothing.
Number 7, consent agenda. Approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transactions. Is there any questions for Dr. Lucas on the payment of bills? I know I don't have any.
I don't have any either.
If there's no questions or comments on the accounts payable, is there a motion to pay bills as written?
This is Susie. I move to pay the bills as written.
Motion by Ms. Cole. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Mrs. Esquivel. Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye, sorry, I was muted.
Ms. Esquivel,
Aye.
Ms. Cole,
Aye.
Mr. Morelos, aye. Unanimously passed. Okay, approval of budget adjustment request, Dr. Lucas.
Yes, we have one, and it's for food service operations. It's a New Mexico grown grant. And we got one award letter, and then they've reduced it, I guess, with the reductions in force. So it dropped our grant down $1,017. It was 6,000, so now it's 4,983.
Any questions for Dr. Lucas on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget adjustment request as written.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Gomez. Is there a second?
This is Susie. I'll go ahead and second.
Second by Mrs. Cole. Ms. Esquivel,
Aye.
Ms. Cole,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, discussion items. And number 9, action items, Dr. Lucas.
So we have our annual out-of-state tuition agreement with Duncan. We need it to be approved. It is about, Brian, do you know offhand how much the dollar amount of that is? That
It's
we
like
pay Duncan?
about 270,000.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 270,000 that we pay them every year. It's something we agree to every year, and it's not us. I mean, it's the state that does it. But the agreement has to be board approved.
It's a yearly thing, I understand.
Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the out-of-state tuition agreement as written?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Gomez. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion. Esquivel.
Second by Mrs. Esquivel. Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. Cole?
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carries. Discussion and possible action on interscholastic activities, random drug and alcohol testing.
Oh, we skipped one.
Which one is that?
The boundary agreements.
Oh, my, okay, excuse me. Let's go to the boundary agreement then.
Right, that's an annual agreement with Silver, where we take in part of theirs.
Any questions on this for Mr. Dr. Lucas? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the boundary agreement as written with Silver City.
This is Susie. I'll go ahead and make that motion to accept the boundary agreement with Silver City.
Motion by Ms. Cole. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Esquivel. Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel?
Aye.
Ms. Cole?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carries. Okay, here we go on the interscholastic activities, random drug and alcohol testing.
Yeah, so this is,
Go ahead, Doc.
I added the revisions like was suggested last month and put the minimum tested to 15, and then also made the urinalysis the primary test. So are there any questions? I mean, like I said, we still have a little bit of time on this. If you'd rather take more time to review or come up with more, there haven't been anything, you know, we've had it posted for over a month now.
I myself don't have any questions, Dr. Lucas. Does any other board member have any questions or statements?
I don't.
I don't either.
Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion to accept the interscholastic activities, random and drug and alcohol testing as written.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gomez. Is there a second?
This is Susie. I'll go ahead and second that.
Second by Ms. Cole. Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel,
Aye.
Ms. Cole,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item D, discussion and possible action on remote learning. Dr. Lucas, you want to start?
Yes, we had a request to put this on the agenda, I think, from the county. They were concerned they were going to lose, I think, approximately 65% of their workforce to the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which is kind of like a modified FMLA. And, you know, and we've surveyed teachers, we've talked amongst us as administrators, and, you know, I just don't know how we can accommodate and make that risk go away, because the way that act reads, as long as we're closed for COVID-19 reasons, then any employee can take up to 12 weeks at 80% of their pay. It doesn't matter what our schedule is. It doesn't matter. Now, hopefully they wouldn't do it, you know, if our schedule matched what they needed, but, you know, it's not going to reduce their risk. I mean, because that is open to anybody, as long as we're closed, physically closed due to COVID-19. And that's for any employer or any employer that has more than 50 employees, you know, government entities, you know, we just have to go by that. And there's nothing, you know, no matter how we work our schedule, any employee that has school-age children can utilize that act to take that time off. So no matter what we do with our schedule, it may reduce the risk, but it's not going to take it away, because the employee still has that right. And I know it was suggested to go even consider packets again. And we would really like to continue with what we've been doing. I mean, it hadn't even been given a chance to work, and it's been working pretty well. And I think we're doing well compared to other districts in the area and even across the state. But I would like to say that if any parent from any employer, I mean, we'll work with anybody if they let us know that for whatever reason, you know, because our goal is not to have people quit their jobs or have to take FMLA and take time off. And we'll work with anybody if they come to us. We have to know. I mean, we can't just pull a name out of the hat and say, okay, you know, we'll work. The parents need to come to us and say, you know, I just really cannot make this work. And then we'll work with them and try to help them.
Any other comments, statements for Dr. Lucas?
Mr. Morelos, I had previously discussed with Dr. Lucas some frustrations that some parents have had, including myself as a parent, about a bell schedule that the kids are having to follow right now. For some parents, it seems like it's very difficult. And it seems to be more with the younger kids. Kids 6 plus, it really, I haven't heard much negative comments coming from those grades. It's more the younger kids and the parents not having somebody to watch them while they're participating in class. I don't know if there's anything that we could do to be able to accommodate the lower grades in a non-traditional bell schedule. But from what the concerns that I've received, that seems to be the biggest concern, that some parents just don't have that support system. As far as technology wise, Ryan, he saved me the other day. I felt very frustrated, not being able to be there with my kids and be able to help them out. So I do understand the frustration some parents are going through. And it's the majority of them, their concerns have been, well, it's my parents or the grandparents that are watching these kids, and they might not be too tech savvy, and they might not be able to really help kids navigate through the system. And how do you keep the kid sitting there for that long period of time on the computer? So I just wanted to see if any of the other board members or anybody has any ideas on how we could assist. I still strongly believe that teachers are not babysitters, they're educators. But how can we assist our parents in providing that support to their child while they're at work?
Any comments, statements?
This is Susie. I've had a few of those issues as well. So I echo what Edgar is saying. We've had the same situation here. We've had the frustrations. We have grandma on board trying to help with basically teaching her and the little one how to navigate the system. That is where the concerns are coming from, is from the lower elementary grades. I really haven't heard anything as far as 5th through high school. It seems like the kids have basically taken on that. Maybe I'm modifying the BAL schedule a little. I don't see the packets working, as they didn't work when we went to them after spring break. We had a lot of parents who didn't abide by filling out the papers, having the kids do their homework, or returning them back to the school to the teachers. So I don't see that as a possible solution, but maybe something that modifies the BAL schedule and it would accommodate teachers and students. It would give the teachers an opportunity to maybe get some work in and release some of their tensions and stress as well. I'm not saying completely cut it, but look at ways of adjusting and modifying it so that it can alleviate some of those stresses. I know a lot of the issues are through technology, and that's higher than that of working parents. As a working parent, it is affecting me and my child, but we're trying to get through it. But it is hard for the grandparents that are trying to work with them as well.
Susie, and I agree with you. I think that the packets are not good. One of the things that I had discussed this with Dr. Lucas, maybe recordings of the class where the child's able to play it later on, and by all means, those who are capable of attending, I just want to make sure that the ones who are having issues, that there's an alternative. Like personally, I think if there's no issues, they have that support system, they could navigate through the technology, it's awesome. But maybe having an alternative for those who actually need it.
This is Morelos. Good points on both sides there. I agree with, yes, there's frustrations too. I've been checking in with my grandkids in Las Cruces, and I truly believe that our system here has been working better than over there. And I think that the administrator down at RVT, Mr. Amador, could probably start working on some kind of an adjustment for the BAL system. We're working with the parents. According to the reports that he gave us, they're making contact with parents all the time, and I hope they keep on doing that so they can make the adjustments so it'll work better for everyone. I don't know what else to say other than I like the positive attitude that's been going on, and hopefully it'll work out. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Morelos, do you mind if I say something to that?
Go ahead, sir.
A lot of the parents that that have called RVT, I can attest to Miss Mendoza sometimes spending 30 minutes to an hour guiding grandparents on the Google, and it has not been easy for her.
Right.
Second to that, I have instructed the teachers to slow down the pace and really focus on that Google Classroom suite, right? So I guess what I would ask the board to do is, if parents are contacting you, it doesn't do good to go to you and then go to Dr. Lucas and come to a school board meeting, because then we just lost a week of helping that parent or that family, right? So if they come to you guys, please have them call the school immediately, and we do have staff ready to help them immediately. And I've even offered to go outside someone's door to instruct them on how to guide their grandkid from one class to another. So it's not going to be out of the ordinary right now to ask us to go above and beyond. And I can attest to my kids in Las Cruces started school last week, and they are not doing anything. And I need to stress this point. My daughter's in high school, and she has to wait till next week to get a lesson in with her teacher. So she has to log in with an advisor every day. So we are amazingly ahead, considering our staffing and our resources. We are ahead of the larger districts in the state of New Mexico. But I would just ask the board that if parents call you, direct them to call us immediately, because each minute that a kid loses, we can't get that time back. So if you guys can do that, I would appreciate it. And then we can look at different methods, and I'll have to work with Dr. Lucas on what that looks like. But right now, asking to change the teachers, asking them to change their scheduling this fast for as much time as they put in, that's going to be a tall order right now, because I think there's a lot of frustration. There's no such thing as an old school teacher anymore, because we're all new school. We're all 2020, teachers, and that old school guy or gal, that they don't exist anymore, because we've got to catch up with the technology. So I would just ask that anybody, if they hear of comments, that they can't be reached, let us know immediately so we can help that family out. We don't want anybody to lose out right now. I think this integration of technology is very positive, because it equalizes wherever we may have been behind here in Lordsburg. It equalized that, and our kids, they're going to be just as competitive with anybody else in any other district in the state. So thank you for letting me comment on that.
Thank you. Good point.
Dr. Amador, I do have a question. As far as feedback that you have received, and again, I don't want to say that this is not happening at the high school or the DTMS, but more for your school. That's where the biggest amount of concerns that we have received. What about as far as kids sitting in front of the computer for 8 hours straight? Or
so that's not true. If you look at the schedule that I've provided, each kid probably sits in front of the screen in the mornings for two and a half hours, and then again in the afternoon for 2.5 hours. So again, you have to keep in mind that I have 200 and some students, so the complaints will be more than the high school and the middle school. And then we're working with younger kids, so imagine trying to keep them sitting down in the classroom. That's the same frustration that you're going to experience at home, because this is new and it's not easy. But the kids are not, the way the schedule worked is they shouldn't be sitting in front of the screen 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day anyways goes past anybody's contract time. So that statement's not valid. So if parents are saying that they're sitting in front of the screen 8 hours a day, I don't know why that would be happening. The schedule I provided the teachers, maybe 2.5 hours max in the morning and 2.5 hours in the afternoon, with the option, not the option, but with the transfer to a PE and music class every other day. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I had a parent who has a child in the 5th grade, and they told me that that's what was happening.
Okay, well, I don't have 5th grade at RBT. It's K through 4.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
But I still I just want the board to go ahead and just think about something for those parents who are struggling. And I know it's going to take time. All this is taking time, but I was elected by the community to voice out opinions and comments, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that this is nothing personal. This is just what the community has asked of me to voice out their concerns.
May I speak up, Dr. Lucas? This is Mr. Almanzar.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for voicing that concern, Mr. Gomez. And again, I'm just going to reiterate what Dr. Amador said. If there's a complaint or a concern that comes to a board member, you're not sure how to answer that, we're the first line of defense. You need to give us the opportunity to make things right. So parents need to call us and allow us that chance to make things right. We have that information. And in regards to 5th grade, the 5th graders, it's a full day. That's in the syllabus. They read that. It's all there. And they're not there for 8 hours, not at all. Both Miss West and Ruthie, they do have breaks within that time. We follow the regular schedule that we always do. So they go to music, they're going to PE, they get the lunch break, they get the afternoon break. And so I would prefer that parents call us directly. Again, we're the ones that are on the front line, and we should have the responsibility and the opportunity to answer those questions. So I understand your concerns. I appreciate that you're bringing them up, because we don't know them. We can't address them. I will say this, that if we do change the elementary schedule, it's going to change all of our schedules, because at the middle school, I share 5 teachers with 2 schools. So if Dr. Amador changes his schedule, then I have to change mine, and that in turn changes Scott's schedule. And so we can't do it overnight. We've already changed schedules 3 times this year from the hybrid, and we continue to do it. So they need to take that into consideration. We can't do it overnight. And so those are just some of the things that you learn as an administrator. And so, you know, I just want the opportunity to do the right thing for kids, whatever the board decides. I know that all 3 of us as administrators, as principals, we're going to do the right thing. We do work together and we want the best for kids, but it's really hard on staff. I'm hearing a lot about kids, and rightfully so, because my son's a student there in Lordsburg. And so he sits there as well. But the thing is, you need to take some of those things into consideration as we move forward. We're going to do the right things for kids. We do work well together, and we're real positive about that, because that's the only way to be. So just take that in mind. Keep that in mind as you talk to parents, and please allow us to help with that, because that's what you hired us for. And we do a pretty good job. We work hard, and we want to do the right thing for kids. That's the bottom line.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mora, may I say something?
Go ahead, Ms. Cole.
I just want the teachers and the administrators and all the staff to know that we really appreciate them, and I understand the sentiment that we're all trying to do what's best for our kids, and I appreciate the face-to-face contact that they have with them on the computer, because I think it's really important for them to make that connection with their teachers and see their classmates. I also worry, about the fact that New Mexico is at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to education. And I just want them to know that I think we are doing a good job with what they're doing. We were just trying to express some concerns that some parents have, as well as our own. By no means do I want to make our learning system any less, because our kids need that education and that growth. And I know it's going to affect teachers and students, and I'm not looking to cause a burden on anybody. We just want to express that that concern that's out there. And the change may not come soon if there is a change. It may be something that's gradually implemented. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Cole.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I had a question for Dr. Lucas. On the report that you gave us, asking the attorneys about permission to use or to record their classroom, how fast can we get that going? Just in case, I know there was a comment right now by a parent that says, you know,
right, and I've started talking to principals, and we're going to start with the teachers now, trying to get them to record, but they're going to have to learn how to do the recordings and you know, make it presentable. And there's some issues as far as once we release the video to a student, then that we have lost control of that video in a sense, you know, because the student can record. So a lot of things, and that's one reason why the attorney had some issues with us making it mandatory that teachers record. So, I mean, we can start now trying, but it will take a little while to get it to where we're good at it and where, you know, it's presentable. And again, it's right now it would be voluntary by the teachers, but it will save them work in the long run.
So that comment that we had from that parent, whenever a child is absent, I don't know if one of the principals want to answer this. What do we do for that kid that missed a whole day of learning? Like, you know, we want to make sure everybody's learning, everybody's comfortable with the technology. So what do we do with those kids that are absent?
You give that to the teacher. One of the ways to do it, Ms. Esquivel, is it's a teacher's job. If a student is absent, they have an alternate lesson for them, possibly. There's any number of ways to do that. It would be ideal if they did record, but again, it's not mandatory. And so just selling that, and I'm sure some teachers have no problem with that. It really makes sense, but it's just kind of impossible to do for everyone. You know, just integrating the instruction, reaching out to parents, making a simple phone call, and getting that information out. That's the best way to do it. In this day and age, there's so many ways to do it. Google Classroom, we have all the tools that we need, you know, email, you know, our phones are just, you know, they're computers in themselves. And so it's just communicating with parents and getting that information out to parents as soon as we can. But also, it's also their responsibility to work with us. And sometimes we don't get that from parents.
Yeah, it's hard to get that communication between parents and I know my daughter is a fourth grader this year, and she likes the way it's been going for her. She's, you know, at first she did say it's overwhelming, but then at the same time I told her it's preparing you for college. You know, you might take an online class later on the road. So this is, it's good practice. I just want to tell parents, you know, be patient with us, the teachers, the IAs, anybody, you know, we're trying to do the best we can. I know it's hard for working parents because myself is a working parent and my husband too. So on top of that, I did have to hire someone to be here with my kids, you know, so I just want to thank all the administrators, Dr. Amador, for being there for me, answering all my questions. So, you know, I want to thank everybody.
Ms. Esquivel, I think it starts with the schools. We need to reach out to parents more and make sure that we're trying to make that contact in some way and offering them any help that we can give them.
Dr. Mr. Almanzar, sorry. I think you're right. Just like earlier I said, you know, that email that Mr. Ramirez sent out today, you know, outreaching, maybe that's where it's at. And that way you guys could hear from the parents themselves, you know. I told Mr. Ramirez on that email that when people feel safe and they understand and there's those communication developed, they would feel more open to speaking to you guys directly. Myself, I personally guide them to the principals or Dr. Lucas, depending on the issue. But maybe that would be something that we could put out there and see maybe how we could help kids. I by no means I want school to start. Don't get me wrong. If it was up to me, I would send my kid tomorrow to school. It's just difficult. It's difficult, just with the concerns that Susie has said, what Alyssa has said. I have my kids in another state right now, attending New Mexico, doing New Mexico school in a different state because of childcare. But again, like I said, teachers are not babysitters. This is not their responsibility to provide childcare. So we're doing what we have to do. And some of us are very blessed to have the support. I just, again, I think teachers have been doing an amazing job. Ryan with IT, Emily, everybody who I've talked to has done such a good job for me personally. But if there's anything that we could do to help out parents, outreaching and letting them know, we're here to help and figuring out a way, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Anybody else?
I'll jump in here, Mr. M. I echo what Susie and Mr. Gomez said. I just think and I hope Dr. Amador and Mr. A and they're not feeling like we're targeting the younger kids because of them. That's not it at all. I think they drew a tough card for sure. It's just the nature of the business for them. That's the majority of our concerns though. But I think they're doing an amazing job. I told Mr. Roberson the other day that heck, they surprised the heck out of me, all the numbers. I wasn't expecting such good numbers, turnout. My biggest fear is that we're not going to be able to sustain that. I think people will start getting burned out. I think students, parents, I mentioned to Dr. Lucas before, heck, I've even had the thought of pulling out my kids. It's just easier to homeschool your kids right now. What are we doing that's better than homeschool? It's easier for them to be homeschooled and it's easier for parents. They don't have to worry about it. I think we need to adjust something or else we are going to start losing kids.
I'd like
Thank you, sir.
Is that right if I go ahead and discuss some of the
Go
things?
ahead, sir.
All right. So, talking with, parents, students, staff, from the high school, there is a concern with the length of our day. And I do understand, like, with us changing a schedule or adjusting it, it does affect all the schools. Because like Mr. Almazar said, we share teachers. It's probably easier for Mr. Almazar and myself just to, change our schedule to address certain things. And it is important for parents to contact us, just like everyone's saying, if they contact the board, make sure you direct them to us. But I like the schedule we're on. The reason why we went to this schedule is because we were on we were planning for the hybrid. So we were going to go 55, we were going to, do a regular schedule. Students that were at home on the days that they weren't going to be there, they were going to have to get online all day long and check in their classes, just exactly like we're doing now, except we would have half the kids there and half the kids would be home. Now that being said, I was all for that. When I talked with my teachers, one of the things, they mentioned shortening the schedule. I wasn't against it, but I was kind of set on this schedule because it just, once the hybrid wasn't an option now and we were going to go full remote, it just seemed, hey, we have this schedule in place. We were going to utilize this anyway during hybrid. So let's move forward and use it. And, I said to my teachers, I want us earning our pay. Teachers do earn their pay, and teachers know that. I don't mean this in a negative way towards them because, we've talked enough, but, I want them to earn their pay, teaching kids all day long. And so that's what we, and that's the way we went. Now, that being said, I do understand, I feel that, I'm not trying to be soft or be weak and you know, go because people are saying this. I do see the concern, and I do feel that at the high school level, and like I say, it would have to go along with everybody that, you know, after giving this maybe some more time to see, you know, where we're at. I mean, I feel it would be important to adjust. I don't know if we can sustain the 55-minute, 7 periods a day until January. You know, I mean, it's asking a lot of our teachers. It's asking a lot of our students and community. I feel our teachers are actually struggling probably more than our students. And just simply because they're not moving around like they used to. They are actually sitting in front of the computer for 7 hours. The students are able to listen to the lesson, log off, work on it, you know, at their table or desk, or not work on it. But the teachers are required to sit there and make sure that if a kid logs back on, you know, that they're there. So, you know, our teachers are used to moving around. Our teachers are used to teaching on the go, on their feet, and it is hard on our teachers, and it's hard on our students. I love the 7 periods. Talking with parents last week, you know, there was they're all for our schedule. They don't have an issue with it, meaning that, hey, we'll do what we got to do. I mean, our students and parents have been, I mean, just great. You know, they've stepped up to the challenge and they're willing to pursue it. But in the same breath, you know, they did, you know, many of them requested, hey, if we can reduce the schedule, that would be awesome also. You know, but hey, it is what it is. And if you guys decide to this, we're going to back you up, which has been great. So, you know, I mean, Mr. Almanzar and I, you know, talked before we got it going, and the state came back and gave us a little bit more options. We did discuss the 45-minute schedule. And, you know, 45 minutes just kind of, I'm not trying to speak for Mr. Almanzar, but 45 minutes just sounded good, you know. When you think of that right now, you're thinking our school goes at 3:30, you know, we can reduce it by an hour and a half when we get off at 2 o'clock. Does that help with any of the other difficulties that they're having at the elementary? You know, we do have multiple students at most homes, you know, at high school, junior high kids, elementary kids. I don't know if that's going to help out with the elementary kids in the afternoon, if the older kids were allowed to, you know, have some of that free time to help their siblings, you know, and of course they got to be a great big brother and sister to, you know, cooperate there. But, you know, they have great kids. So I can see that being a positive. You know, I think it's something that me personally do want to address. I mean, I personally want to look at reducing our schedule. And like I say, and I'm all for a 55-minute schedule. I mean, heck, if we stick with this, I'm good to go. But I do understand the concerns that we're hearing, and I do feel it's concerns. I don't feel anybody's trying to dictate what we're trying to do. Me personally, I just feel that they're, you know, concerned. And if we're able to help with the older students, maybe getting, you know, having a shorter day, and it does kind of help out with the younger kids, I mean, I'm all for that, because, you know, some of the high school students just say it's too long, it's too long. Well, you know, we get it. But many of the students really, you know, come with a good, you know, response, you know, a knowledgeable, you know, educational response, like, hey, Mr. Robertson, it is a long day. You know, I log in, I listen to my lesson, and then I try to do my work. And then I do go back and ask the teacher. So I am sitting there, you know, all day long, it's not the same, even though if we were at school, it would be a regular day. You know, I mean, we're going from 7:45 to 3:30. So it is a regular school day, but it's not the same. You know, students aren't there, you know, I mean, boys can't talk to girls, you know, girls can't talk to boys, you know, teachers can't talk to the students. I mean, they do it online, but it's different. You know, it is strenuous on both the teachers and the students. And I mean, I really feel it is important for us to really look at the schedule, see how we're going. If it can, by reducing our upper grade level schedules to assist with the elementary, that'd be great. I mean, just writing notes down. I mean, it'd be great if we could utilize high school students. You know, we have some great, well, all of our students are great, okay? But we have some great students, and we have some students that are just, you know, I mean, they don't need the extra help, you know? I mean, they get this stuff done and they move on. It'd be great to utilize high school students to help and assist with the elementary students, you know, whether it's helping with teaching parents how to get online, or, you know, to reach out to help teachers, you know, to assist. And I know there'd be many high school students that would be willing to do something like that. You know, I mean, you know, we all need community service for our National Honor Society kids, and then just kids need community service for their, you know, for the resumes for college. And we can utilize things together by coming up with a plan to make it, you know, I mean, to make it really efficient. Like I say, if we went to a 45-minute schedule, you know, when you look at it, we're just taking 10 minutes off of each class period right now. And that's not a whole lot. I mean, it's still, I mean, the reason why we like that 55-minute schedule is because we were going to provide our students with a great education, you know, at this rough time. And then it was going to be able to utilize teachers to be there, you know. So right now our average lesson is 20 to 30 minutes. You know, basically kids have 30 minutes before the next class because we have 5 minutes in between each class. So if students stay on, they stay on. Some students want to stay on and make the teachers teach, you know, longer because they don't want to get off because they're bored right now. I don't know how long that'll last or if we can sustain that. But as the high percentage is that when students log off, they don't log back on until the next class period. So that's 30 minutes on an average, or 25 minutes on an average that, you know, it's kind of dead time. It is opportunities for students, but, you know, at this time, you know, a lot of them aren't taking advantage of that. So it kind of works the same. If we reduce the schedule, we would have that time in the afternoon for them to reach out to the, you know, teachers. So, you know, it kind of plays out the same. My only concern about that is that, you know, if students aren't reaching out during that class period, I feel that they might not reach out in the afternoon, you know, but that's just something where we gotta, you know, like we were saying, that's where we have to reach out, you know. But I also feel that at this time, and I'm not trying to take money out of anybody's pocket, but I do feel it's, you know, financially too, that if we're allowed to, or, you know, if we did reduce the schedule, we would have time in the afternoon for our teachers to communicate with parents. It would give them some more, you know, it would still give them time to reach out to kids or kids to reach out to them. It would give them time for planning and grading and just preparing, and it would give students time to work on the homework. Now we say that on a regular day, you know, what's the difference? But it is, it still is different. Right now, you know, the extra planning time would benefit our teachers because it's a different process. The thing about it is though, it's you know, it's our teachers aren't asking for this, but I just feel that if we can provide that time more during the day, they're still going to work after school. They're still going to work on weekends. They're still going to come in on Sundays. That's just part of the job. That's what they've done. But I think it can, you know, help the teachers out. It can help our students out, and hopefully we can help all the way down to, you know, our elementaries by, you know, utilizing that extra time in the afternoon to reach out to high school kids to help, or at least high school kids can help with their siblings at the house. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberson.
Dr. Lucas,
Any comments or statements?
What can we legally adjust by what we've been allowed to by PIP?
Well, we can set the bell schedule. I mean, we can adjust the bell schedule. You know, the state says we have to have a certain number of minutes,
right,
or number of hours per year, and they're going to hold us accountable whether we're not here or there. But it's on our attendance taking. You know, if we say we're going to take attendance at this time, we can come up with a policy that will help adjust so how we can count, you know, the students here at, say, this time, then they're present all day. That's what way the elementary should be working now. So, I mean, we can adjust, and through Labor Day, we're fine. Once we've gone past, you know, if all the schools come back after Labor Day and we're still in remote, I don't know if they will allow us that leeway for the attendance or not. We may have to get the hours at that time regardless. But between now and Labor Day, I mean, we've got flexibility.
So theoretically, we could go, I'm not saying we're gonna, but we could go fully asynchronous if we had to.
Yeah.
As far as learning. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Well, I've got a few comments to make myself. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Barrera.
Just, I guess Dr. Lucas too. I talked to Dr. Lucas about this. It shouldn't affect the other BAL schedule, I guess, but it should be an easier fix, I guess, if there's such thing these days. But just having seniors, if they've hit that credit hour requirement already, do they have to take electives? I remember when I was in high school, I took 5 classes my senior year. And that was because I played sports. That was a rule too. I could have even done less than that if I didn't play sports. But I just think that's an easy way to help some students out already. If we could reduce the classes that they don't even have to take, if they already have their credits.
I know at one time we did it. And Ryan, do you know offhand why it stopped? Were you here when it?
Offhand stopped what?
When at one time seniors were allowed to leave after they finished, like say they only needed 4 classes in the day, they were allowed to leave after lunch, and it stopped. Were you here when that happened, or did that stop before you?
I'm not sure on that. I don't remember anything having to do with that part of it.
Yeah, I need to call PED and find out. I don't know what the rules of law. I should have done it sooner, but I hadn't had a chance to check on it yet. Because when we get full attendance for them, I'm not opposed to it at all.
Good point there, Mr. Barrera. Again, thank you for all your comments and concerns brought up to us. I will personally say this, that again, if we stay on this positive road, I think we'll succeed. If we give this a chance to work out, in the meantime, maybe the principals can get together and start working on Plan B. But I think we need to let this go till Labor Day, how it's going to work out. I truly believe that we had a good start, better than a lot of places ever did. And with the teachers communicating with parents, and let them know who's doing what or not doing what, I think they'll succeed in getting the homework to the absentee people. I don't believe in changing the schedule right now is a good idea. This is just my opinion. You guys had your say so and stuff. But if we need to change, I'm sure we can change during and after Labor Day. But let's support our administrators and what they're doing. I know I do, and I know you guys do too. Let's see what happens between now and Labor Day. And I truly believe it's going to work, guys. I really do. Again, thank you, administrators, Dr. Lucas, Dr. Amador, Mr. Almanzar, Mr. Robertson, for all your comments and helping us out. And I know the communication between you all and the parents will work. I think it'll work.
I had something.
Go ahead.
So this topic was brought up from the county. The letter says there's 65% of the workforce working. Let's say after Labor Day, or let's say, this doesn't change, but then yet people are applying and, our economy is going to go down, we're paying up, people out. I know education is important, but we don't want people to quit their jobs because, we don't have a schedule for the working parents. Maybe there's a contract union with some of the teachers, with the flex, maybe doing evening classes, maybe giving the teacher stipend if they agree to from here on out, if we don't have a solution after Labor Day, you know, we can't change, you know, I know we can't change teachers' plans, you know, but for the work solution, what is our plan for the workforce? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Listen, I agree with you. Like, what about the parents who just absolutely cannot do it? I mean, are we setting up the kid to fail for those families who just absolutely cannot do it? Because right now it seems like some people are having to choose between either putting food on the table or education. And that's what it's coming down to. I know it sounds harsh, but I just want to be realistic. And what are they doing in the case for those who just absolutely cannot do it?
So if they talk to their principals at the respective campus, we can work something out with those parents. We
Okay,
never
good.
intend for anybody to lose their job or have to take the extended leave. We'll work with them. I mean, we can, if nothing else, we can do packets for those. If their teacher's not willing to do the video that the child can look at, then we can work packets or something with that parent.
So that's exactly what I was hoping to hear, is that, again, for those who are able to do it, like for example, my own kids, I want them to attend. I'm going to continue doing my best. I'm speaking up for those families who absolutely can't. And if the principals are able to help those families out, you guys wouldn't understand how appreciative I would be of that. And I'm not asking again for us to change this entire thing for everyone. I'm just really trying to focus just to those people that don't have that support system. And it's not their fault, just like none of this is our fault. It's not their fault that they don't have that support system for their children either. But I just don't want to set any child or family up to fail if there's something that we could do.
Right. I mean, like I said from the beginning, I mean, if they come and talk, but I mean, it doesn't do any good for everybody to complain, but then they don't discuss it with their principal or teacher or anything like that, because we can't do anything.
And that's the fear, Dr. Lucas, because what happens if they just say, "Oh, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go homeschool." We don't have to worry.
Right. And if they do that, then they'll have to come talk to us.
But then the worst case scenario comes up of, oh shoot, I'm not going to homeschool either. I'm just not even going to log on. Now they're not getting any education at all. Now they're just at home failing our school.
Yeah.
So now we have a bigger issue on our hands.
Well, what I'm not hearing is, I'm not hearing the county coming up with any solutions. They're putting it all on the school district. That's what we've been working on this since March. All three of the principals, we have a plan. We have a good plan, but they need to meet us halfway. They're putting it on us. They're dictating to us how to do this. And so I'm just going to put it out there. They need to come up with a solution. We're only a phone call away. All they need to do is call us. We would gladly sit down with the county manager and the county commission and work something out. We're here to solve things. And so it works both ways. Don't put it all on the schools. Reach out to us and allow us to make the solution, correct everything that we need to do.
Yes, and they have called, and we visited some, but that's why it's on the school board agenda now.
And just
and it's not just county, it's every working parent.
Dr. Lucas, and just like I told you, as far as my company, and not just in this county, but in other places I oversee, it's happening. So it's not the county only that's in fear of this. I think it's other employers, and we just all again have to be realistic and admit that our workforce here is it's not the greatest. We don't have a lot of people to choose from, so we want to make sure that we retain those employees that we do have.
Yeah.
Again, this is Morelos. I believe the communication part is the most important issue right now. People need to call to the administrators, and maybe they can work out the issue. I believe this will work if we give it time and with communicating with each other. I appreciate everybody's comments and statements. do we need to make any kind of a motion? Or
Not necessarily. I mean, if you want to change something or direct us to change something, then
I think we need to give this a chance. This is my recommendation to keep on what we're doing. Please consider it that we stay till Labor Day and see what happens between now and then we can work on it if we have to.
And like I said, if any of you get any response to parents or anything like that, or parents saying they can't do it, send them to the principals and we will work with them. I mean, it's never our intention to cause hardship on any family.
Can you elaborate on what work with them means? Can we, I mean, technically they don't have to.
Well, if nothing else, it would be packets as a last resort. But if the teacher is willing to record their lessons, then it would be, they could look at the lessons at a later time and have, be able to turn their work in, say, the next day or something along those lines, where they can look at the lessons in the evening.
I think if they could record and then.
That's the ideal solution.
Yes, sir. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that'll solve a lot of the problems.
Right.
I agree.
Yes, I agree too. I think if the teachers could really consider the recording, I think so.
Okay.
If the mandatory attendance isn't, if it's not mandatory to sit there during live.
Right. And now, like I said, after Labor Day, they may come back and say, because we're kind of going against what the state guidelines are.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of uncharted water. I mean, so it's something we'll need to consider too at our board, and we'll know more by our next board meeting, as far as what the state's doing and where we stand.
Okay.
So for those working parents, so just, reach out to the principals and, get in contact, maybe work something with them or
or even the teacher. I mean, the teacher
to work something out, because we don't want to lose anybody,
right. No, not at all.
or anything. Education is very important to me, and I know, it's nobody's fault that this virus came. We're just making sure the safety is the first priority of our district. But education is important. Hopefully, if this doesn't go away, we could, maybe we can consider, giving the teachers bonuses with the CARE Fund Act, money that we have available, just to keep them going, just to be there for the kids, to make sure that we support them 100%. If they're tutoring after hours, maybe considering, giving them a little bonus money.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's money.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Lucas, and just to add to this, Dessa Molina and I, through JJCS, you were on the board
yes.
on the board meeting the other day. We are working on a proposal to hire additional qualified tutors. It seems like I'm going to be getting a lot of support from the board. So that's something, that we will also make available. Another available resource is any teacher or person who's qualified to tutor kids. We're working on that, just so the rest of the board knows, to get additional help out there.
Dr. Lucas, it's Susie. I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know how many kids are still lacking a Chromebook?
They should all have Chromebooks. If not, like I said, we're still reaching out to those that haven't logged on, and when they get hold of them, if we find out anything. But right now,
everybody has one.
Everybody should have a Chromebook.
Okay.
If they needed one. If they contacted us that they needed one, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, thank you, board members, for all your statements and comments. I appreciate all your support that we give the administrators and our system. Is there anything else we need to talk about on this? Are we in concurrence to stick with our program till at least Labor Day?
Mr. Morelos, if parents are able to make those arrangements, which I'm not saying they have never been able to make them, but if they are able to make these arrangements, I'm okay with that.
Anybody else? So I think we're in concurrence to stick to our plan and keep on supporting our staff and our administrators. I appreciate everybody's, again, comments and statements and all the support that we give to our system. I think we are done with our agenda. If there's any more comments on this, the meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Have a good evening. God bless everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Likewise.
Y'all have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.